What is up, guys? MiniShCap1 here. I'm going to be doing a gameplay presentation of this game that I played with TF Blade a few days ago. On his climb to rank 1 in NA, I'm playing mid lane Singed here with Predator, showing that wave early versus melee mid. You let ranged mids push into you, however, and then bounce off your tower to crash the wave. But versus melee, you can start pushing for level 1. Find the priority. I'm going to be looking to ward the Raptor camp because of priority. The reason why is because most junglers, almost all of them, will clear Raptor camp on their first clear. So if you can get a late ward on Raptors, then you will know where they are, and your jungler gets the information as well. There's a few exceptions, but most junglers do Raptors in first clear, so that works out. Versus melees, again, you have the ability to prio your wave like this. Some melees you cannot do this against, but most melees in mid lane you can at least. The rune pages that I'm using here, the rune page is Predator, Tasted Blood, Eyeball, Ingenious, Nimbus Celerity. You can also do this with Ultimate Hunter. It's also fine, sometimes better. There's a situation in this game that happens where Ultimate Hunter would have been better. But Nimbus Celerity to make up for the movement speed early game nerf to Predator, and Ingenious Hunter to make up for the early game cooldown nerf to Predator. Late game, it's actually better than it used to be, but the problem is before late game, it's worse than it used to be, right? So that's why I'm using runes to make up for the weakness of it. However, you can also just do the old setup with Ultimate Hunter and be fine, because most games do go late. Right here, I'm just threatening for the early realm. They back off pretty fast whenever I walk over this bush. They backed off immediately right there. So I'm just assuming that, like, there's a ward in the bush, because how else would they know, right? Excuse me. That means that Talon was the one that put the ward over there. Diana was pushed under her tower the entire time, so it wasn't Diana. But Talon walked past the Raptors and just probably dropped the ward there. Dodging the Q. Making sure not to eat free damage. Still have 2 potion charges, but why take free damage, right? Alright, backing off a bit because I don't know where Talon is. He's not going to be bottom because my bot lane's under their tower. He's not going to be top because he just cleared a bot camp. So most likely he's in mid, right? So we have the Viego, look for the Ghost. Don't get the flank because she flashed, but Ghost for flash, very worth for us. But yeah, we just don't know where Talon is because, like, he couldn't gank bottom because Vault was in her tower, and he couldn't gank top because he was on Raptors like 5 seconds ago, right? So little likelihood he's either going to gank mid or he's going to recall. So I take the chance, right? Here, I decide actually to not recall because I'm close to boots and I can just push one more wave pretty easily. I have a potion charge, I have enough mana to push, so I might as well push. And if Diana is roaming, then I want to be able to punish her for it. So I'm pinging the missing. Looks like she is... Nope, she ends up coming back mid because my push is fast enough early game where she'll lose a lot of CS if my team doesn't dive bottom. If they did dive bottom and she counter ganked, it would have probably been GG. Because massive counter gank for her doing that. But my push threatens her to stay mid, which is really good. By early Swifties, the reason why you see Singed players going Swifties more now is because the level 1 ult nerf makes Swifties more important, or I guess not more important, but it makes them a little bit better for Singed because you lost 10 movement speed level 1 ultimate. So Swifties makes up for that, and then you have also the slow resistance on it. It's also the cheapest boot at 900 gold, so you save some money as well. Economical, right? It's not always the best boot choice, but it is generically good on Singed because, you know, on Singed you just have to be in range of people to fling them, and if you can't get in range of people, then your champion doesn't work. Also, it is good for your passive as well. Flat movement speed boosts help your passive because your passive is percent movement speed boost, so flat is good for passive, percent is good for your ult because your ult gives flat. So you want to mix of both, right? Here, I'm waiting to pop Predator until I am close, because if you pop it when you're far, because it's slower early game, they'll know, and then they'll run away. But if you wait until you're a bit closer, then they have a less of a chance to react to it, and then, you know, get in the gank. So, my Zeri takes a power shot there and dies to the Yasuo. He double kills, fully stacked with lethal tempo, kills Rakan. Pop my ultimate because I hit level 6 on the roam by killing minions with my poison, and then he dies, so I have 2 kills here. I'm gonna go ahead and push the wave in as well. Trying to get as much money as possible, trying to make their bot lane suffer as much as possible. For dying to me. I'm pretty sure that I did decide to proxy here, which is really good. And the reason why is because I have mana regen coming from my ultimate. So I can go ahead and proxy level 1 wave, or not level 1 wave, the wave here. And get the tier 1 plate is what I meant. So I ended up getting a roam. I take 2 kills. I get the wave that was over here in the lane. And then I get a wave behind the tower, and then I take the tower plate as well. So I ended up with, I left my base with 0 gold, and I'm recalling with almost 1.6k. That's huge. That's really good. So, by Blasting Wand and then Amp Tome, or to go Ruby Crystal. Yeah, Ruby Crystal. Demonic or Rylai's is fine here. Rylai's is good here because it's 4 melee champions which are not stacking HP. They have AP Gragas and non-Sunfire Dana and actually Assassin Talon. I could also just go Demonic here because they're 4 melee champions and Demonic will just hit everybody, so either or is fine. I'm ahead, so Demonic is probably the play. But if I was even, I'd go Rylai's instead. Here, Popping Predator, over here towards the Realm. Zera gets a big W across the entire enemy team. I get a W as well. I should have backed off right there. I overstepped a bit into the Senna Shroud. Didn't see Dana was there, and then I ended up getting killed. But Zeri thankfully gets a return kill, which is good. Yeah, so I've actually bought Giant's Belt first. Instead of going for Blasting Wand, there's a possibility they could have survived there. But I mean, it's hard to say because I walked into 4 people, right? So it's hard to say that would have worked out. But TF Blade pressuring his lane, doing very well. Honestly, that matchup's pretty bad for Jax too. Gragas, because Gragas just kind of stalls the lane now. This is what Gragas does. It's super hard to all in him. He has so much today, and then every time you jump on him, he can stun you. And every time you try and like farm, he'll Q you. It's just pretty annoying matchup. So that being said, Diana's missing in mid. I look for a little bit of damage for the plate, maybe. Yeah. So put W so she can't jump on me as fast. Gonna keep farming the wave. They're picking missing bottom because the Talon just ganked them. She knows I want to go for that plate. That's why she's putting so much damage on me here. She's risking it. She's risking dying to a gank just to put damage on me there. Warding the Raptors again. Looks like there's 1 Raptor left, so he got counter jungled by Viego at some point, and hasn't actually cleared the camp out, which is good because then he's just not generating that gold because it won't respawn, right? So essentially, you're locking in the camp into having no gold for him until he clears it. So that's good. I just saw Diana ward over there. Ping it for my team in case Rakana wants to come. Just gonna go ahead and shove. Trying to keep full HP at all times. That is a good tenet on Singed. Just try and be full HP at all times because people will always try and kill you because you are Singed in Modern League. In Old League, you know, not to be a boomer old man yells at the sky, but in Old League, if you popped your ultimate, you were tanky. In Modern League, you're only tanky if you pop your level 16 ultimate and have several tank items. Oh man, it's okay. So they are cut off here. I see Talon. I put W down. Pop ultimate. I saw him. I tracked him with the vision for my poison trail that gives vision over stealth units. I live there because of the Swifty boots plus ultimate plus ghost give me hella movement speed to get out of there. I get full ultimate hunter stacks, or sorry, full ingenious hunter stacks off the fight, which is super good. So my predator will be super low cooldown this game, which is awesome. I clear the top wave here because TF Blade is pushing mid. So clear top wave, punish the Gragas, he clears mid, punish the Diana. Good to go ahead and I think I initially wanted to buy Rylai's, but I think I changed my mind and decided to go for Demonic instead. I'm pretty sure is what happened here. Yeah, okay, cool. I had the choice to sell Darkseal there if I wanted to get Demonic, but it is 4 stacks, so I decided to keep it. In hindsight, it's better to probably sell it here, just to have the Demonic faster. Because like a 4-stack Darkseal is... It's about 30 AP. So 30 AP total. Is that worth not having your Demonic? Demonic is a huge DPS increase for Singed. I mean, it's like it's hard to undersell or hard to oversell how much Demonic actually helps your damage on Singed. So is 30 AP worth it, or is having Demonic worth it? Bear in mind, if I finish Demonic, I do get extra AP off that as well, because my components give 60, but then having Demonic would give me almost 68. So it wouldn't be a net loss of 30, it would be a net loss of like 22?
Killing spree.
AP. Okay, top gets a kill. Looking towards bottom because they are fighting or posturing the fight. I walked over the crabs like they know I'm over here, but I'm just trying to make sure that they don't engage my bot lane while my Zeri has to recall, essentially. In hindsight, I should have probably just cleared the wave, but I saw Yasuo just fearlessly running up, so I assume he's trying to bait for the enemy team. Because why else would he ever walk up here, right? It's like no other reason for him to ever walk up here. I see Viego going over there towards Dragon. I think they saw him. Yeah, they did see him, so he's probably on a ward over there. And they dropped the ward over there too, so they know that where me and Rakan are. So I think, yeah, we just have to give this Dragon, unfortunately, which does suck because Cloud Dragon is So OP now, the cloud buff. 7% out of combat movement speed, plus 7% slow resistance is actually insane. I mean, I think Cloud always was kind of good, but I'm kind of biased as I play Singed. I think Cloud always was pretty good, but man, now it's just, holy moly, Cloud buff is insane. Okay, so gonna push this wave here. Yasuo wants to all-in me because he's a Yasuo player, he's a bit of a monkey. So we put W on the wave so he can't dash back over to us, dodge the Q so he can't ult onto us, and then just clear the wave and back it up. Senna's walking towards bottom, so we know that there's supports here too. Zeri and Rakan hopefully come back towards bottom here. I'm gonna go ahead and recall and buy Demonic. I think I buy Demonic and a Ruby Crystal is probably the best item here. Yeah, okay, cool. Ruby Crystal. Love to see it. Oh, it's brutal. Brutal for my Gragas, unfortunately. Okay, so Rakan engages on Talon here. And actually, they burst him with the Zeri ultimate, the Ignite, and the Rakan DPS as well, which is actually huge. Unfortunately, my Rakan gets jumped on by Yasuo, and I should have kited down there, not the biggest deal in the world, I could have probably lived, but because I kited up, the Yasuo ends up flashing me for the kill, we go 1 for 1. I think he wanted to actually flash out of Poison Trail and try and live with Triumph is probably what it was, and Lifesteal, but it was a bit too slow by him. One of the nice parts about the Snow Day skin is the Poison Trail indicator can be kind of deceptive. I mean, most people who have played against Singed know exactly what's going on anyways. Like, the poison is not exactly trying to hide from you. It's just a little bit harder for sometimes people to see in the middle of a team fight, so I do like the Snow Day skin for that reason. It is a little bit clunky in the animations, but the Poison Trail is just kind of annoying for people to deal with sometimes, so I do think that is a kind of a funny little thing that teams you to get a small, tiny, teeny, insignificant advantage on Singed. Okay, so Diana's bottom, they are pushing our bot tier 1, unfortunately. We do lose tower first blood, but that's okay. I'm just trying to protect my Zeri so that she doesn't get jumped on here. Showing my presence, go ahead and walk back towards mid because Yasuo is shoving. They are trying to dive Gragas top. I'm going to go ahead and ping missing on Yasuo here, so I'm pinging him, walking up towards top. Make sure that my team knows that it's possible for him to threaten. Just doing a little bit of harassment towards Yasuo, trying to see how strong he is. I don't remember what exactly he had at this point, but if you can take his shield off, like, for a minimum cost to yourself, then you usually should, because whenever Yasuo ults onto someone, his flow shield resets. So what ends up happening usually when you fight Yasuo is if he has a flow shield, or if he's near a flow shield, he can all in. And then while he's all-inning, he will get a use of his flow shield. Then he knocks you up, and he gets another flow shield. So even though Yasuo only has, like, what, 1.5k HP, he effectively has, like, 2,200 HP, right? Because he can get multiple flow shields in a fight. So if you're able to poke that shield for a minimum cost to yourself, then you probably should, because it not only keeps him a bit more, like, nervous, but it keeps you out of danger, because he has less incentive to all-in when he doesn't have an extra flow shield to use, right? Little things matter like that, so make sure you're paying attention. So, walking towards top here because the Gragas is low and Jax wants to dive. My Rakan, he does live there, very good, okay. So, we're gonna go ahead and tank the tower for Jackson and pop Predator so we can get in range of the Gragas here. Then just take the tower for him. Looking back, I could have probably saved my Ghost, but Gragas is very annoying, so I wanted to make sure that I got the kill. My Viego gets into a fight over there. Yeah, he does. Unfortunately, he does go down here. Look to defend mid here because they want this mid tier 1 tower. And Zeri is not quite here yet, so we're going to try and poison the wave, dodge the Q. I doubt they would have tower dove me if he hit the Q, but you never know, right? Just threatening fling there, not actually going for it, but just trying to make sure that they know that the threat of the fling is there. If I actually go for it, there's a good chance they kill me. So Dragon's up in 30. I'm trying to farm a wave or two and then back off. We just saw Senna blow our ultimate, so we know that Dragon fight will not have a Senna ultimate available for it, which is important. Okay, clear this. Go ahead and recall here. One thing important to note is that my ultimate cooldown is not up in time for Dragon here, which can be kind of cumbersome / deadly for Singed, because you're very reliant on your ultimate to fight. Told the Dark Soul and the Potion to get rallies there, which is honestly fine here because it's going to be a big fight. for this dragon. It's going to be a 10-man team fight. But yeah, this is a situation where Ultimate Hunter would come more in handy, because I'm not just like perma roaming, right? The Predator is not being used off cooldown. It is important to have it, but your ultimate's very important too. So it's really up to you, like, what's more important. This game, the early game, Ingenious did help me get some kills for my bot lane, or for my team in general, so which is good. I eat Senna CC, but then my team fights. Senna does not have a CC to throw onto my team. Rakan gets a massive knockup here. My ultimate is still down, and it comes up as I'm running through the team. Now the tankier can run back through. Rylai's Demonic across 5 people, and they all burn. Quad kill for Viego. Very nice. Yeah, not having Ultimate Hunter there, it makes me very nervous. But because they nerf Predator, you have to kind of make these decisions. Like, before, Ult Hunter was just generically, like, the best one almost every game. But now it's like, well, if you value your early game, then Ingenious is better. If you value your late game, or your mid-late game, then Ultimate's better because you're kind of sacking your early game to have a much better late game. And it really just depends, right? Like, because the Predator is... I don't think it's quite as good in top lane as it is in mid lane. I think it's a bit better in mid lane, but the rune overall is nerfed. But the thing is, like, if you're playing mid-Singe, then what else do you take? The mid lane, I think, is objectively, like, more fun right now because the state of top lane's kind of miserable right now. You know, they nerfed all the sustain and, or like the potions and stuff, and then range champions top didn't get a nerf. So, you know, you have to deal with that. But if you're playing mid lane, you can't really go Aftershock because you're playing versus ranged a lot. And you can't really go Conqueror because you're playing versus ranged a lot. You could go Spellbook in mid. I've made a Spellbook mid video, and that's fine. But if you go Spellbook, your roaming is a bit hampered compared to Predator. So it ends up being that you just kind of want to go Predator anyways, even though they nerfed it. But it is what it is. You cannot perma-roam anymore. That's what they wanted to kill. Personally, I'm of the opinion that they should revert the Singed Kit nerf. Because when they nerf Predator, they basically killed permanent roaming Singed mid anyways. And that was the problem. The problem is not people playing Singed mid. The problem is people playing Singed mid and never laning. As you can see clearly from this game, I have to lane. I have to lane quite a bit. I have to keep laning, actually. And so you can't just play perma-roam. Which was the issue with that Riot had with the rune in general, right? And just Singed mid in general. They didn't like people perma-roaming. Right here, we're kiting left towards my team, because I'm assuming they don't have vision of us over here, and they see Zeriwalk in the jungle. Gragas scouts us, no big deal. Get hit by the barrel, whatever, just go ahead and back out. I'm pinging the portal here, because I want my teammates to go through the portal and escape, but Jax is pinging on the way as well, so we think Jax has teleport here. Rakan gets hit by the stun, he backs out. They try to engage on my Viego, he stealths. Then I see a good flank on Senna, goes forward. She dies basically immediately, which is awesome. I get hit by some CC here. They get a big Yasuo ultimate, but I run through 5-man Rylai's Demonic. Again, huge, massive, juicy team fights this game. Oh my god. Auto the Talon as he tries to jump over the wall, and so my poison DPS is him to death. Making sure I get the cannon there, and let's go ahead and recall and reset. Huge value there, very good. Right here, I'm debating internally whether I want Chem Tank or Riftmaker. I decided to go Riftmaker this game because I am the solo AP threat on my team, and the reason why that means Riftmaker is better is because if I have Chem Tank and I don't focus on going only damage or mostly damage, and then they stack armor, then my physical damage dealers are going to deal less damage, and I'm not going to be scaled up properly to melt through them with AP. So in a comp like this, it's a little bit more important that you do damage as opposed to tank. But it's not inherently wrong to want to be a little bit tankier because you are singed, right? So again, something to consider. But you do have very high AP scaling on your Q. It is 90%. Just wish that there was some base damage behind it, Riot, but you know what, whatever, it's fine. Because I feel like there's other champions that just have, like, way higher base damage and also scale very well, right? Like, for example, so here I'll get back on that point in a bit, but walking over here with Predator because my team is fighting. Ignite takes Yasuo down, drop the W so Gragas can't get away, and then Gragas goes down as well. So my point was basically there's champions that are stronger than Singed early game that have a better mid to late game. And I'm not saying Singed mid late is bad, his mid late is actually quite good. But his early game, I'm saying, is so bad sometimes. Like, it's so bad sometimes when you're trying to play early game on Singed. And you notice that more now this patch than probably we have in a long time, because, you know, the double nerf to Kit, the Predator nerf, and they nerf potions, they buff Dragon value, they buff Rift Herald value, so top lane gets an indirect nerf from that. You know, you really do feel these things start to add up. And so it ends up being important to, like, you know, have an early game. And so it always, like, boggles my mind that champions like Kayle and Fiora and Kassadin and Camille, they all have really insane late games, but they all have better laning phases than Singed. And the argument is always like, oh, but you know, they lose lane to lane bullies like Renekton and Pantheon. I'm like, okay, well, Singed does too, but then he gets lane bullied by the other scaling champions, and it's not even close, really. So it's like, maybe my champion should have a bit of early game, right? Maybe. So you see them warding for Baron, which means they might be going for it. We know that they're not going for Baron now because they jumped on my Viego, but it was possible that they were trying to wait a little bit to go in here. Don't want to get hit by CC, but I go for the fling here. We get a big Yasuo knock, and then we all actually end up melting, unfortunately. I get that kill on Gragas here, which is good, but the fight was a little bit unfortunate for my team here because they just got a big Yasuo knock, and we walked into a Yasuo there, Yasuo Diana combo, and then they just womboed us. So yeah, not the greatest fight for us, but I do have Riftmaker now, which is good. They end up getting Baron off of that, I do believe. So this is sort of where, you know, the duo carry comes in that I was talking about. The duo carry between me and TF Blade. My Viego, I think, starts to spam FF. I think my bot lane starts to spam FF as well. And then me and TF Blade have to be like, listen, okay, buddy, we need to duo carry. And that's a good point. He said, why not just do Drake? And I totally agree with that. Because we knew that they weren't on Baron, because they were harassing Viego, but then he wanted to keep going forward for the fight, and then that ended up going very badly for us because we got hit by the Wombo. So they're doing Dragon here. My Rakan can't really stop it by himself, I don't think, which is unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is, right? So then they get Dragon buff. Hextech got buffed as well. Hextech, I think, gives like 9 ability haste and 9% attack speed now, which is like absolutely insane that Hextech buff gives that much. I think they wanted to nerf these Dragon buffs. They're way too individually strong. In my opinion, it's a little bit daunting as a top laner whenever, like, you're just playing the game and then the enemy gets, like, oh, they get a mountain buff. Well, mountain gives 9% armor and MR now. 9%. Conditioning, by the way, gives 4%. A rune that only activates after 12 minutes. Tried to W him, but he just flashed over the wall, so Gragas has no flash now, which is good. So I get all in by the Talon here, unfortunately. and like, this is kind of what I mean. Like, yeah, my ult is not up. If I had Ultimate Hunter, I could have ulted, but I probably would have died anyways. But you know, okay, my bad, my fault. Now I shouldn't have face checked the bush. I also just didn't expect the Talon to completely one-shot me there. So again, my fault. But good push by Jax here. He has Demolish. He's getting some good tower damage down, which is awesome. Love to see it. Yeah, tier 2 top is a lot of gold for him, so that's really good. I think this is where my Viego kind of starts to spam FF as well, which is unfortunate. So here, in terms of itemization, there's a few things I'm thinking. I'm thinking either Frozen Heart, because they have a lot of physical damage. I'm thinking, what else is good here? Randuin's is good here, because of Senna and Yasuo. And they also have magic damage between Diana and Gragas, and my next item has to be impactful. So I'm going to end up building an item that I don't build a lot, and you guys will see what it is, but I'll talk about it more when we get there. Right now, my teammates are backing off because they cut off the wave, so they couldn't push tier 2. Unfortunately, we did lose our own camps, which is bad, because it's just gold, right? But whatever, it is what it is. Here's the Talon. I ult, and then I'm going to try and walk over to him. Unfortunately, I did end up getting clapped here a bit, but I lived, so I backed off. Had to pop my ghost, which does suck, but better than dying. I thought he would have been by himself, then my team could rotate over and just zap him, but that's my fault there. Taking it over here and do blue buff. Helps a lot after you have sold your potion on Singe, just to have some sustain in terms of mana. And then I have Riftmaker to sustain my HP a bit. Yes, I'm considering going Frozen Heart here, but I decided instead to go for Gargoyles. Now, I don't always build Gargoyles, and the reason why I'm doing it here is because I need my next item to just be effective against their whole entire team. If my next item is not effective against their whole entire team, then I'm gonna get clapped, basically, which is really important, is just be able to survive. So I don't always build this, because skipping gargoyles and buying the individual tank items that are good against their team members in order is generally better, right? So the best possible buys here for me is like Randuin's, Anathemas, and then maybe like a Death Cap, or Shadow Flame, or, you know, whatever, right? If I can't get all of it, then the best combination of whatever 2 slots I have left out of those 3 items. This game, it probably would have ended up being Randuin's and Shadow Flame, because Randuin's gives HP, Shadow Flame gives HP. As I hit level 16, I get more MR from that as well, so I can defend myself from Diana and Gragas a bit more. Shadow Flame would end up scaling me into the late game in terms of damage, so would Void Staff if I ended up going Void Staff. But Shadow Flame, a little bit better when they're not stacking MR, and they're not really stacking MR at all here, so Shadow Flame is better versus that. Playing bottom here, just trying to match Gragas so that my Jax can pressure his lane. Trying to be near the dragon because it doesn't have teleport, and Jax does have teleport. Talon unfortunately kills my Zeri here, but I see him walking over here, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate over. Pop Predator, see if I can catch him. He goes into this bush, unfortunately jumps the wall so I couldn't get him. But I can't walk into the lane here because then I'll get hit by Yasuo and then I'll end up getting hit pretty hard, so... I see Jax is pushing top. Trying to create pressure for him. Looks like my Zeri is mad at me. I don't even remember Zeri being mad at me here, but... I'm not the one who got caught by Talon, so... Okay, Dragon's up in 30. I see my team trying to posture for a fight here. I'm not trying to be over aggro because I have a lot of gold in the bank. I have 1,100 gold. And if I can go back and buy, I'd like to go back and buy, but I don't think I have the chance here because they're going to threaten Dragon, so... Just end up clearing the wave. Okay, they ulted the Jax, Senna did. They did not walk over to Dragon yet. Rakan pink ward, can't stop it, unfortunately. I could have walked in front of the alleyway right there, between the bush and the wall, to try and stop them from going to Dragon so easily, but I didn't actually manage to do it, unfortunately. Yasuo ult goes down across all of us, and then so does Dan ult. But I get out. Zeri ends up surviving and DPSing everyone, and before she even goes in, I got everybody so low with Poison Drill, which is why it's important to go AP here. Sadly, I died to Talon, because I didn't see him walk in the bush. I was like, I remember being super upset when I died there, because I just didn't know where he was. Ends up being in the bush. The Zeri W slows him, and he ends up overextending a bit. Dies to the Zeri because she pops a shield bow just in time. Very clutch. Love to see it. Buying my Gargoyles components here. I considered for a brief second they're going Zhonya's instead, but I'm glad that I didn't this game. Well, the Zhonya's would have been good. Again, additional AP as well to help you scale in terms of damage, but I needed MR as well, because I needed my next item to be super impactful. And that's something that you learn slowly as you just play League of Legends is, do I go for the best possible build, or do I go for the item that's going to help me the most in the next 2 minutes, right? Next 2-3 minutes. And in this game, the item that's going to help me most in the next 2-3 minutes was in fact Stone Plate. And if I wanted to later in the game, I could have even gone for this super, you know, I guess the best phrase for it is like the best cuck combo is is actually Stone Plate with Zhonya's. So what you do is you pop Zhonya's as you're getting low on HP. And as you come out of your Zhonya's, you pop Stone Plate, so you have a huge amount of shield, and if they focus you, then they're essentially wasting their time, right? Odds are you go down, but by the time you go down, the amount of damage you've done through Poison Trail, and just like them being in your poison is going to be so high that ends up being worth it. I see Yasuo over here, a little bit overextended, end up ghosting onto him, ulting, and then flinging. My team finally takes him down, which is super good. I see Talon going for my backline here, get the Goofling on Talon, take him down. Huge play by me right there to help save the game. The Senna actually ults the Jax again across the map, but see Diana, fling Diana, DPS and Diana. And then unfortunately Senna ends up doing a lot of damage to me here, because why shouldn't supports just hard carry games? Because, you know, that makes sense, right? When support champions can 1v9 games. Just a little side rant here. Every single hybrid support champion that they've made has failed in terms of like healthy gameplay or just healthy design, right? Like Pyke, the first assassin support, had to be nerfed and gutted like 17 times and he's still broken. Senna, the first support AD carry hybrid, had to be nerfed and changed and gutted like 15, 20, 30 times because, you know, they're just super OP. Unfortunately, my Jax missed his, he misclicked the, what do you call it thing? Oh, and then he TPs and messes up the TP. I forgot that happened. But yeah, Senna and Pyke are just, oh my god, those champions are so crazy. They're so absurd. But that's enough of the rant. I have Stone Plate now, and then they're going to try and force Baron here. I think I tried to stop it. I don't remember exactly what happened here. The best play here is to just let them have it, because I doubt we're going to stop it. But there is a Hex Gate, so if I can go for the Hex Gate and fly through and poison everyone, I'd like to try for it. My Veigar tries to steal, doesn't get it, flashes out unfortunately, but it is what it is. What can you do? So go ahead and clear mid here. Dragon's up in a minute 25, so we're trying to make sure that we have vision for Dragon. Looking for the counter ward. Make sure to grab Crab always if you have Prion, because the movement speed buff and the vision does help so much. It is vision that they cannot clear. It's vision they can't get rid of, and that's so important. So Crab is so important even in the late game. If you can just walk by and just snipe the Crab real fast, usually always do it, because it's perma-vision for however long the Crab lasts, right? Okay, so right there, just recalling for some mana, recalling for some HP, no problem. Talon tries to kill my Rakan. Pop everything to try and catch him. Get the fling. Doing decent damage to him. Yasuo shows up over the wall, so I pop Stone Plate. Dodge the Senna binding there. And I see Jax going for their Nexus, so I'm trying to force the issue here. I'm trying to just force the fight. Rakan stops the Yasuo back there with his Redemption. Then I'm trying to just catch the Senna here, and we actually do catch her, but this is what really threw me off right here, is she just kind of face tanks me. She just kind of face tanks me, and she doesn't die. Ends up being fine, because my Jax ends up ending the game, but like, why does she have to be so tanky? I don't know, it's hard to say, but me and TF ended up duo carrying that game while my team, or at least my Viego definitely got tilted. My Zeri was mad at me for a bit, but just through really good team fighting, good synergy, proper itemization, the Stone Plate helped me live a bit longer there, so I go back in and stop the recalls, and then Jax split, which is in the game. So, hey, hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was definitely a lot of information in this one, but I want to do more of these like post-game commentaries, because I feel that I can get a lot more information in the video and get a lot more of my thoughts in the video as well, because whenever I'm in-game, it's harder sometimes to narrate literally everything that's going on, but if it's in post-game, then I can just kind of sit and let you guys know my thoughts and just like a constant stream of information, right? I don't know. I think it's fun to change it up every once in a while, so who was new to that one? And that is it for me. So, see you guys next one.